Once men finally understand this one truth, everything changes. And when men really grasp it, not just in theory, but deep in their bones, the game ends. Because the moment you see how attraction, emotion, and validation actually work, you stop chasing, you stop proving, you stop being the predictable guy she quietly loses respect for. It's a harsh realization, but here it is. Women don't fall for the man who gives them everything. They fall for the man who doesn't need to. That sounds brutal, doesn't it? You've been told since childhood to be nice, respectful, attentive, giving. And all of that isn't wrong. But when kindness becomes dependence, it turns into weakness in her emotional world. When your attention becomes constant, it stops being valuable. And deep inside, you can feel that truth. You've seen it again and again. The more effort you give, the less interested she becomes. It's not just you, it's not bad luck, it's psychology. If you're serious about understanding the hidden things women never admit, the quiet moves, the emotional codes they only reveal through behavior, then stay locked in till the very end of this video. Because near the end, I break down exactly how to use that knowledge to shift the balance forever. If you're ready to stop guessing and start seeing the truth with clarity and control, make sure you hit that like button right now. It's time to learn what most men never will, and become the man they always remember. Let's strip away the noise and talk about why this happens on a psychological level. Human attraction doesn't follow the rules of fairness or logic. It follows emotional tension. It's built on polarity, the push and pull between desire and uncertainty, admiration and respect. Women are emotional creatures, not in a demeaning way, but in a way that's hardwired. Emotion is how they measure value. In a social sense, they read energy, your presence, your composure, your self-control. If you're always available, there's no tension, no edge, no emotional spark to keep her invested. You've removed the mystery that emotion feeds on. It's like having your favorite song on repeat every hour of the day. At first, it feels amazing, but over time, you don't even notice it anymore. That spark of excitement you used to feel? Gone. Men, on the other hand, are usually linear. You feel connection when there's loyalty, when someone stays. But women, subconsciously, feel connection when there's emotional movement. When she has to wonder a little. When she feels like she could lose you if she doesn't bring her best self. That balance, that emotional gravity, is what keeps her respect alive. And the tragedy is, most good men suffocate that gravity trying to be perfect, available, and endlessly understanding. You lower your standards thinking that's what love requires. You forgive too soon, communicate too much, explain too often. You beg emotionally in silence, trying to win her validation back with more effort. But in her emotional world, your over-effort signals fear. And fear unconsciously tells her that you value her more than yourself. That's the quiet moment when respect starts to die. This isn't about blaming women. The deeper truth is, they can't respect a man who doesn't respect himself. They can enjoy him, admire his loyalty, love his intention. But deep inside, they need to feel he could walk away at any moment if his peace is threatened. That's what creates emotional safety for her. Not his constant yes, but his quiet confidence to say no. So the game doesn't end when women understand men. It ends when men finally understand themselves and how their energy sets the tone for everything. Once you stop chasing what doesn't match your worth, women start seeing what they once ignored. Now, I'll break this down step by step. The exact shifts that flip the emotional dynamic in your favor. Each one small, but powerful enough to rewrite how women experience you. Shift 1. Detach from the outcome. The first shift is internal. You stop needing her reaction to feel okay. Most men live emotionally reactive lives. They say something sweet and then watch her face like a stock ticker, waiting for the market to approve. If she smiles, you rise. If she's distant, your chest sinks. That's the trap. When your peace depends on her mood, you lose the invisible battle. Detaching doesn't mean not caring. It means caring differently. You value truth over comfort. You stop trying to persuade someone to choose you. You speak your truth and let the cards fall. Think of yourself like an oak tree. You can bend in the wind, but you don't uproot yourself every time a breeze shifts direction. Shift 2. Replace neediness with standards. Neediness whispers, please pick me. Standards declare, here's what I choose. One carries the energy of survival, the other carries the energy of abundance. A man with standards knows what kind of energy he'll allow in his life: honesty, consistency, reciprocity. He doesn't get angry when someone fails those standards. He simply withdraws access. Women subconsciously test for this all the time. They tug at boundaries not to destroy them but to see if they exist. When you calmly hold your line, she feels something powerful: safety and respect. You're not punishing, you're leading by example. Right now, we've uncovered two of the biggest shifts that reveal how every woman truly operates. The patterns hiding in plain sight. If this video hit home for you, tap that subscribe button and join the tribe. We drop new content every day on female psychology, hidden red flags, and how to recognize a woman who's genuinely loyal. Stay moving, stay aware, stay unshakable. Okay now. Shift 3. Silence over explanations. Every man knows the spiral: uploading essays of emotion through text messages, paragraphs defending why you should be treated better. But explanation is the language of the powerless. When someone truly values you, silence says more than protest ever could. Picture this: she pulls back, takes you for granted, stops investing. Instead of pleading or confronting, you respond with measured stillness. You don't chase, you don't post quotes begging for attention. You focus inward. That silence pierces louder than anger. It forces reflection. She's left wondering, why isn't he fighting? Why isn't he trying to convince me? And in that moment, the energy shifts. Shift 4. Rise into self-possession. Self-possession is the art of being wholly at home in your body and mind. It's when your presence says, without words, I know who I am. Imagine walking into a room. You're relaxed but alert, your movements deliberate, your gaze calm. You're not performing confidence, you are confidence. Women read this instinctively. They sense the difference between a man who needs validation and a man who radiates quiet command. The latter doesn't compete. He invites. He doesn't seduce by chasing. He attracts through gravity. That gravity isn't loud. It's composed energy anchored in purpose. Your life vision, your craft, your growth. Shift 5. Live in purpose, not performance. When your attention is locked on becoming who you're meant to be, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, you stop dancing for approval. Purpose makes you magnetic. Performance makes you exhausted. A man lost in his mission walks differently, his routine changes. He's too busy building something real to analyze every reply or double text. Ironically, that is when women notice. They feel that shift, not in what you say, but in what you no longer need to say. Shift 6. Master the pause. In moments of conflict or uncertainty, instead of reacting instantly, pause. Feel the urge to defend, to win, to clarify, and then let silence settle. That breath between stimulus and response is power. Women remember men who can hold emotional storms without flinching. They test for stability, because stability equals safety. Every pause trains your nervous system to rule the moment instead of obey it. Shift 7. Choose self-respect over reassurance. At the end of every small decision, texting first, waiting for a reply, accepting half-hearted effort, ask yourself, am I acting from respect or from fear? Fear chases closure. Respect walks away in clarity. That's the final shift. You no longer beg to be understood. You simply become undeniable. Now, I'll slow down the storm, the emotional buildup. Because before power returns, healing has to happen. We'll peel back the pain, the confusion, and the guilt that men carry when love collapses, and show why none of it means you are weak. You've given everything. You showed up, you texted first, you forgave things you should have walked away from, and somehow, you ended up feeling disposable. You weren't crazy, you weren't too emotional, you were invested, and somewhere along the road, that investment got taken for granted. Let's breathe that in for a second. Every man who's been through that loss knows the hollow feeling in his chest. Confusion mixed with pride, love mixed with resentment, memory fighting logic. You replay the moments, the laughter, the plans, and then the sudden distance. You think, what did I do wrong? But here's the truth most men never hear. You didn't do something wrong. You just gave something too soon. Because men love through doing. We fix, we protect, we provide. It's our instinct. But if your energy is unguarded, you end up pouring into someone who's still deciding if they even deserve the cup. The hidden pain. Let's talk about that pain you never say out loud. The frustration when she said, "You're such a good guy," right before choosing someone who barely tried. The ache when you felt you were in competition for her attention with men who treated her worse. It messes with your sense of justice, like the world's rules are broken. You start to believe kindness is weakness. But that's not true. Kindness without boundaries is weakness. Kindness with discernment is strength. Your capacity for depth, loyalty, and emotional presence, those are rare gifts. The problem isn't that you have them, it's that you gave them unguarded to someone who hadn't earned them. Women don't consciously sit there plotting to hurt you, but emotionally they respond to energy, not effort. When she senses you're giving everything to gain her approval, she begins to doubt your self-worth, not because she's cruel, but because subconsciously she's wired to find safety in a man who has limits. That's the cruel paradox. The more you self-sacrifice, the less she trusts your strength. She begins to feel motherly toward you instead of magnetized by you. Why you're not crazy? You ever notice that every time you pull back, she suddenly becomes curious again? She texts, she checks in, she asks if you're okay. That's not mind games, that's emotional rebalancing. Attraction thrives on polarity, and when you rediscover your gravity, the balance resets. She feels the masculine energy return, not dominance, just calm certainty. And you realize you were never too much. You were just too available for someone who hadn't earned your depth. So instead of apologizing for being intense, romantic, loyal, assertive, passionate, own it. Stand in that intensity. That's your strength, not your flaw. The healing shift. Healing isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about transformation. From needing to prove your worth to quietly embodying it. Stop chasing closure from her. It rarely satisfies. Start building closure through your own actions. Every workout, every project, every night you spend refining your mind or your craft, that's you saying, I'm still here, I'm still building. And yes, you'll have nights when the loneliness stings, but it's a different kind of ache. Not the ache of being unwanted, but the ache of growth. That ache is sacred. It's your reminder that you're outgrowing who you were. This isn't about becoming alpha, or playing games, or pretending to care less than you do. It's about reclaiming the energy that built empires, inspired art, and carried generations. The quiet, unwavering masculine strength that doesn't beg, it creates. Now you will understand how silence, self-respect, and leveling up make her realize what she lost. How the man she overlooked becomes the standard she'll never find again. Here's the turning point. When you finally remove your energy from the tug of war, everything reverses. The silence that she once saw as weakness becomes a mirror. Suddenly, she's the one replaying moments, reading old messages, wondering why your voice sounds different when you do speak, stronger, colder, calmer. At first, she doesn't understand. She thought you'd always be there. You were reliable, predictable, safe, and she associated that safety with control. Now the script flips. You're not rude. You're not bitter. You're just focused. You don't post to make her jealous. You disappear into purpose. You're not proving anymore. You're producing. And the paradox appears. She starts to remember who you were before she drained you. The man who had ambition, humor, peace. The version she met when your attention was a privilege, not a habit. That's the moment regret begins. Not because you punished her, but because you healed beyond her access. How respect returns. Respect doesn't come back through revenge. It returns through reinvention. She watches you from a distance, maybe online, maybe through mutual friends. You're not flaunting women or money. You're radiating direction, quiet joy, and emotional composure. You stopped trying to fix her. You fixed your focus. You stopped asking, why doesn't she love me the way I love her? Now you ask, Why did I love someone who didn't love herself enough to meet me halfway? That question changes everything. Because once you stop chasing brokenness, you naturally attract wholeness. Women can sense that. The feminine is drawn to masculine peace, the way fire is drawn to oxygen. When you have nothing to prove, your presence does the speaking. And that calm authority, and that's what storms her mind when she's alone. Not memories of your gifts, not your compliments, but the feeling of you, the steadiness, the structure, the rare thing she can't find in 1,000 likes and half-heart conversations. Now it's not about her at all, it's about you, your mission, your health, your craft, your evolution. You are not the rejected man anymore. You are the man in motion, the masculine force that rebuilds after ruin, the one who learns, not out of spite, but out of destiny. Understand this, your worth never came from her affection, it came from your ability to give it. The fact that you could love that deeply means you're extraordinary. You just need to aim that depth back toward yourself and your purpose. Start investing that same energy into your fitness, your discipline, your career, your friendships, your faith. Every time you choose growth over validation, the balance tilts farther in your favor. Because one day she may reach out, curious, nostalgic, maybe apologetic. But you'll look at the message, smile slightly, and realize something profound. You no longer crave what once consumed you. She was a chapter, not the whole book. And the story you're writing now, your story, is about becoming the man whose peace cannot be disturbed by anyone else's confusion. That's not arrogance, that's emotional mastery. You went through heartbreak not to lose power, but to learn how to hold it. So now ask yourself, quietly, honestly, what will you build with all the energy you used to waste chasing validation? The moment you answer that question with action, every woman who ever overlooked you becomes part of your origin story. And every move you make from today forward reminds the world you were never finished, you were becoming. If you've watched this video all the way through, it means you're serious about understanding your partner and about building something real. Now, to go even deeper into the signs most men completely miss, check out my next video. 7 hidden signs she's been with too many men. It'll open your eyes to patterns that quietly shape how a woman connects, trusts, and commits. And before you go, drop a comment below. Did you already know these truths before watching, or did this video flip a switch for you? Either way, your awakening has already begun.